MSNBC's Morning Joe continues to do what he always does, punch left. This time blaming progressives for allegedly passing laws that allow for homelessness.
Mika, the mental health system in this country, again, is just grossly insufficient. Whether you're talking about New York, whether you're talking about Florida, whether you're talking about California, you have people walking around on the streets that have mental health issues. And the fact that some progressives have said basically, oh, well, we're just, let's pass laws that allow homelessness. You look in San Francisco, you look at Los Angeles, as we've said all along, and Rev and I have said all along, there's nothing compassionate about that.
No.
There's nothing progressive about that, leaving people with mental health problems on the street. No, we need to spend more money.
There's nothing progressive about leaving people with mental health problems on the street. Yeah, well, I agree. But here's the thing. That's not the progressive plan. Okay. What the progressive plan is for healthcare is to have universal healthcare, which we don't have. Universal healthcare would include mental health care that is accessible and free to everyone. Yeah, that's the whole plan, right? And as far as homelessness goes, to get people into homes. I know. Sounds real simple, right? Now, that is not what LA is doing. That is not what San Francisco is doing. That's not what New York is doing. Nobody's doing it. In fact, that's kind of the problem. No, but he's like, oh, we need to put more money into taking care of the mentally ill. We gotta take care of them, right? And not just say you can live on the streets. But that's not the plan here. The plan would be to have Medicare for all. Okay, that's a progressive plan that again treats mental health. Okay, and for there to be affordable low-income housing to get people off the street and into homes, not just temporary shelters, okay, but into homes. Well, it'd be super small homes, nothing like super fancy, just like modest, a place to sleep, their own little apartment, right? But apparently you talk about that and you've got people that immediately balk at the idea. How dare you? How dare you? But before I get into that, I just want to push back on the assertion here that some progressives are passing laws that want to allow homelessness. What? No, what laws are progressives passing that will allow homelessness? Okay, can he cite an example? Where it's like, oh no, to progressives, we're going to pass this law, that says totally fine to be homeless, to sleep in the street, whatever, and we're just not going to do anything about it. What? I mean, look, a lot of that is actually just like, hey, we need to solve this issue, but until then, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for us to, destroy encampments and then throw people in prison. Okay, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense here. All right, we actually should, help them and not just throw them in prison. But apparently that's a law that allows homelessness. All right, now as far as the mental health issue goes, and by the way, a lot of people that are homeless, it's really kind of a transitory issue, right? Meaning that, people that are homeless today won't be homeless in like a year, okay? It's really kind of a temporary state of being for most people. Now, you do have those who are chronically homeless, and then, again, that's another issue. Well, a lot of people experience homelessness as a result of, like, I don't know, getting priced out, can't really afford it, or got like a medical bill, a medical issue that makes it so that they can't afford it. Hey, guess what? Medicare for all would actually solve that too, because then people wouldn't go bankrupt from having a cancer, okay, and lose their house. So it's one of those things that might actually it turns out healthcare and homelessness kind of do go hand in hand, and not just mental health care. Okay. But anyway, as far as that issue goes, there have been attempts to try to solve that issue. Unfortunately, one of the reasons that LA, for example, has people with mental health issues that end up on the street has to do with Joe Scarborough's hero, Ronald frickin' Reagan. Yes, this is another one of those issues where you can go back and be like, what is the cause of this? Oh, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, back in 1981, President Ronald Reagan actually gutted President Jimmy Carter's Mental Health Systems Act of 1980, which wasn't a perfect solution, right? But it was something. Now, what it would have done is allocated block grants to the states to bolster the establishment and growth of something called community health centers. Okay. So these grants were designed for establishing and expanding community health centers nationwide, which would offer prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation at the community level rather than large institutions. Okay. With a focus on building an accessible mental health care system. Now, this would also set aside funds for research on illness prevention, treatment effectiveness, and the structure of health systems. And the Mental Health Systems Act also stressed the importance of collaboration among state and local governments, as well as between mental health providers, social service agencies, and other community groups, because it acknowledged that meeting the needs of individuals with mental illness required a unified approach involving various disciplines. It also introduced a patient's Bill of Rights, which served as a patient's Bill of Rights specifically tailored for mental health patients. So I'm not saying it was a perfect solution that would have knocked out, mental illness or whatever, right? But it probably would have done something. And at least we would know how effective it could have been if it had been allowed to stay in the place. But we never found out how it could have been effective because just 10 months after it began, Ronald Reagan gutted it. Okay, he signed the Bipartisan Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1981, which significantly reduced federal funding for these community mental health centers. So they shifted the burden of funding these things onto the states. And what did that do? Well, they didn't have enough funding to do their mission. So they just kind of withered and died. That's what happened to these a lot of these community mental health services. Not all of them, right? But obviously there seems to be more need than there is help available, okay, when it comes to mental health. So understand that we would have had a lot more federal funding for mental health care if it weren't for that progressive Ronald Reagan. Insane, right? But no, it's always the fault of the progressives, right? It's always we got to punch left. We got to punch left. We can't punch right. Never, never, never. No, because Ronald Reagan, we love Ronald Reagan. We love him so much. Oh my God, the great Saint Ronnie. It's ridiculous. So what you end up having is in a country where you have no, universal mental health care, doesn't exist, okay, and no affordable housing, you end up having this issue. Gee, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? This is what progressives have been saying all along. And yet, every time, falling on deaf ears. Nobody listens. Nobody listens at all. Nobody wants to do anything. So you've got establishment warning Joe, who's sitting there punching left, right? Constantly punching left, and blaming progressives for things that corporate Democrats and Republicans like Ronald Reagan have done. To sit there and watch that, it's maddening. It's maddening. Hey, Joe, you want to find out who did this? Who caused this problem? Look at the freaking mirror. All right? Look at Ronald Reagan. Like, here's the thing. Progressives want to solve the issue. And I'm not saying we have all the answers, but we have some answers. We have some answers that we've never tried before. Like, giving people homes and giving people health care. Never tried those things here in America. Now, look, in other countries, they've given people health care. And guess what? Now everybody has health care, and they don't have the issues that we have, which is medical bankruptcies and people going around with, untreated mental illnesses. We should try, we should try this whole healthcare for everyone thing. I hear it works. I hear it's pretty effective. Only, every other modern country in the world has figured it out, but we haven't. Apparently, it's too difficult. Too difficult. Those stupid ass Americans can't figure it out. Well, that's what the government's telling us, right? That's what the Republicans telling us. Oh, yeah, no, we can. It works everywhere else, but it can't work here. We're giving billions of dollars to Israel. Israel has universal health care. Okay, they can figure it out because they get it from. They can do that because we give them billions of dollars, but we can't figure it out here. No, I know what the real problem is. The real problem is greed. Real problem is greed. Again, we want to solve the issue, right? And again, the thing that is really obvious, that sticks out is, hey, why don't we build some more affordable housing? But of course, every time progressives try to do that, every time you get these NIMBYs, especially in places like California, by the way, where it's NIMBY liberals will come out and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Not my backyard. Why are you building that there? Well, it's going to make my property values go down. Well, I don't want that there. What about the drugs? What about the crime? I don't want all these homeless people on the street. Well, you build affordable housing, they're not going to be homeless. Doesn't matter. And then, of course, you bring up Medicare for all. But I don't want to get rid of my private insurance. You're going to take away my private insurance. You replace it with something much better. That's actually cheaper. Cheaper, more comprehensive, more effective. But no, they're like, I can't do it. Don't you dare touch my health care. It's not your health care, it's your health insurance. They're actually two different things. Look, punching left when the problems are really the fault of corporate America and the right wing, corporate Democrat, it's hilarious. Hilarious. And yet he's like, Joe, getting back to him, we need to put in more money. Okay. But wait, you're the same people who are always saying, we're spending too much money on the poor. Which one is it, Joe? Are we not spending enough money on mental health care? Are we not spending enough money on health care? Actually, you know what? In the United States, we actually spend more on health care than any other industrial modern country. And what are we getting for it? We're getting less. We're getting hosed. It's because our private system has failed. Failed. Privatization failed. Obamacare failed. Prices continue to go up while coverage is trash. Medicare for all. That's the only solution. That's the real solution. All right. And again, I want to solve the healthcare issue. I want to solve homelessness. I want to actually solve homelessness. But understand that people like Scarborough, they don't want to solve it. They want to solve the optics. Meaning, they don't want to see homeless people. That's it. They don't want to see homeless people. They don't want to see people with mental illness because it makes them uncomfortable. Okay? Understand that that's where they're coming from. This is not compassion. It's revulsion. They're revolted by seeing homeless people. They're revolted by seeing people with mental illness. And they just want them gone. They don't want to see them. And maybe they'll be like, well, I guess we'll just throw some money at the problem. Okay, but that's not the solution either. Yes, the solutions that I offer that progressives are actually, calling for would require money, yes, but it would require spending money smartly on the things that are necessary to solve the problem. Universal health care and guaranteed housing. That's it. And of course, guaranteed housing means, zoning the housing, obviously, and building it. I know. Building lots of affordable housing, except and not condos, okay? Actual, real affordable housing. And yes, it would mean, some people, they're going to get mad because it's going to be in their backyard. Well, unfortunately, that's the solution. But when it comes down to it, the same people, Joe Scarborough, people like that, they're the ones that are out there preventing real solutions from being enacted. They want to throw money at it, but just throwing money aimlessly at it is not going to solve it. You got to do it smart. You got to have the right plan in place. And conservatives and corporate Democrats, the NIMBYs, they don't have actual solutions that are going to work to solve the problem. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.